During a family road trip, my parents stopped the car and told me to get out because I wouldn't give my savings to my sister. My mom smirked and said, "Figure out how to get home on your own." I smiled and said, "Actually, I already have a ride." Their faces dropped when a fancy car showed up. We were about 5 hours into what was supposed to be a fun trip when my parents pulled over. The mood was tense. My dad gripped the steering wheel so hard his knuckles turned white. My mom sat with her arms crossed, smirking like she always did when she thought she was in control. I knew what was coming. "Get out," my mom said coldly. I didn't move at first. I just sat there, waiting for them to laugh or say it was a joke. But they weren't joking. "You're serious?" I asked, staying calm. My sister, sitting in the back, groaned, "Oh my God, just get out already." This all started because I refused to give my younger sister my savings. She had spent all her money, probably on shopping or some new hobby she'd soon get bored of. She always asked for my money, and my parents always sided with her. But this time, I said no. And now here we were. My dad turned to glare at me. "You want to be selfish. Fine, you're an adult. Figure out how to get home on your own." My mom's smirk grew. "Let's see how independent you really are." My sister giggled. They thought they had me. They thought leaving me on the side of the road, hours from home, with just my phone and wallet, would make me panic. They thought I'd beg to come back. But I wasn't scared. Unlike them, I had a plan. I smiled and said, "Actually, I already have a ride." My parents looked confused. Just then, a sleek black luxury car, one my family could never afford, pulled up behind us. My mom's smirk disappeared. My dad's jaw tightened. My sister looked shocked for the first time ever. The car door opened and out stepped someone they never expected. That's when everything changed. Nathan stepped out, a man my parents didn't know. He was rich, the kind of rich my parents pretended not to care about. But unlike my family, he respected me. He walked around the car, adjusting his expensive suit, looking like someone who never had to worry about money. He glanced at my parents, then at me, and said, "You ready?" I nodded and grabbed my bag. My mom snapped. "Who is this?" I shrugged. "A friend." My dad leaned forward, glaring. "What kind of friend?" I didn't answer right away. Instead, I took my time getting out of the car, stretching like I wasn't just kicked out by my own family. I turned to them, enjoying how my mom's smug look turned to worry. Then I dropped the bomb. "Nathan owns the company I work for." Silence. My dad looked like he'd been slapped. My mom stared at Nathan's suit, the car, then back at me. My sister wasn't smirking anymore. "You work for him?" my mom asked, like it was impossible. "No," Nathan said sharply. "She doesn't work for me. She works with me." My parents' faces tightened. They had always treated me like I was nothing, like I was just there to give money to my sister. They never cared about my career or what I'd achieved. I had worked hard to get where I was. I had connections and options. Now they realized they couldn't control me anymore. Nathan checked his watch. "We should go," he said casually, like this wasn't the most awkward moment ever. I smiled. "Right." I turned to my parents, who were still staring at me like I was a stranger. "You wanted me to figure out how to get home on my own," I said. "Well, I did." My mom snapped. "Don't be dramatic. Just get back in the car." I laughed. "Oh no, you made your choice. Now live with it." Nathan opened the car door for me. As I got in, I saw my parents in the rearview mirror. They looked furious. They had lost. But they didn't know I wasn't done yet. As the car drove off, I let out a breath. Nathan glanced at me. "You okay?" I nodded. "Yeah, just thinking." But really, I was angry, not because they left me, I expected that, but because they thought they could throw me away like I was nothing, like I only mattered if I was useful to them. They were about to learn how wrong they were. As we drove, my phone started blowing up with messages. I expected angry texts from my mom or maybe my dad, but I didn't expect a text from my aunt. "Aunt Lydia, are you okay? Your mom just called me, ranting about you leaving with some rich guy." Aunt Lydia sounded nervous. I stared at my phone. Nervous? My mom didn't get nervous. She got angry or controlling. But nervous? That was new. Nathan looked at my phone. "Something wrong?" I hesitated, then handed it to him. He read the messages and said, "Interesting, she's panicking." I frowned. Why would she panic? She won. Nathan gave me a look like I'd said something silly. "No, she didn't," he said. She just realized she lost control. That's when it hit me. My whole life, my parents made me feel like I needed them, like I could only succeed because of them. But now, they'd proven I didn't. I leaned back smiling. They weren't worried about me. They were worried about what I might do next. For the next 2 days, I ignored their calls. The more I ignored them, the more desperate their messages became. My dad started with anger, calling me ungrateful, selfish, and a disappointment. My mom tried guilt, saying I was hurting the family. My sister, she didn't text me at all. That was a red flag. My sister loved to rub things in my face. If she wasn't texting, something was wrong. I decided to dig deeper. Here's something my parents didn't know. I had more resources than they thought. Nathan wasn't just my mentor. He had connections. He could get financial records, background checks, everything. So I asked him for help. What he found shocked me. The big twist. Why they really wanted my money. My parents weren't just trying to take my savings for my sister. They were in serious debt, tens of thousands of dollars. Credit cards maxed out, unpaid loans, and the biggest shock, a second mortgage on the house they never told me about. And the worst part, they used my name for one of the loans. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. Nathan calmly handed me the documents. You could press charges, he said. This is fraud. Fraud my own parents had stolen from me. Suddenly, everything made sense. Why they always pushed me for money. Why they didn't want me checking financial documents. Why my mom looked nervous when I left with Nathan. She knew. She knew if I found out, I could ruin them. Now I had a choice. I could confront them, demand the money back, or destroy everything. I stared at the papers, gripping them tightly. My whole life, they treated me like I was nothing, like I was disposable. Now it was their turn to feel powerless. I looked at Nathan. What's the best way to make them suffer? He smirked, and that's when we made our plan. For years, I was their backup plan, their safety net. They used me, lied to me, and when I stopped being useful, they threw me aside. Now it was my turn. I wasn't just going to get my money back. I was going to make sure they lost everything. I didn't say a word to them. I didn't let them know I knew. I let them panic. And oh, did they panic? My phone was flooded with messages. My mom went from guilt-tripping to desperate. My dad, who always acted so tough, even called Nathan, the man they'd mocked days before, asking to talk to me. Nathan, being petty, put him on speakerphone. Look, my dad said, sounding tense. We need to talk. You can't just run off like this. Nathan smirked. She didn't run off. You kicked her out. Silence. I could almost hear my dad grinding his teeth. That's not the point. This is family business. She needs to come back. I finally spoke. Why? He hesitated. Because. He took a deep breath. Because we're struggling, okay? You don't understand how hard things have been for us. We just needed some help, and you just left. This was good. They still thought they could control me, that I hear family and come running back like a good little ATM. Too bad for them, I wasn't that person anymore. I'll think about it, I said, and hung up. Nathan laughed. You're more patient than I am. I smiled. They're about to get what they deserve. First, I locked down my credit. No more loans in my name. No more sneaky credit cards. Then, I went to the bank and reported the fraud. I filed a police report. I handed over all the documents Nathan had found, proving my parents took out loans in my name. They thought I wouldn't notice. They thought I wouldn't fight back. Oh, they were about to learn how wrong they were. A week later, my mom called, frantic. They're saying we committed fraud. What did you do? I leaned back, holding back a laugh. What did I do? I repeated. You mean what you did? Her voice cracked. We're going to lose the house. I let that sink in. They were losing everything. Their debt had caught up to them. The loans, the house, the unpaid bills, it all fell apart at once. And without me to bail them out, they had nowhere to go. I smiled. Well, I said sweetly, maybe my sister can help you. My mom snapped. She doesn't have any money. You know that. Oh, the irony. I stayed quiet, letting her panic. Then she yelled, you can't do this to us. We're your parents. I tilted my head. Oh no, you did this to yourselves. Then I hung up. And just like that, I was free. A month later, my aunt texted me. Aunt Lydia, they moved in with your sister. The bank took the house. They're miserable. I stared at the message, then smiled. For the first time in my life, I didn't care. No guilt, no regret. They tried to ruin me, but in the end, they only ruined themselves. And I was finally free.